Hello, welcome to Patrice for Yoga. Today we're going to do Yin Yoga and this is a short session for the low back. So let's go. So our first posture is going to be the frog. This is for the groin and to stretch the low back. So let's get going. So we're coming over onto all fours. I'm going to roll my mat just to give a bit of padding for my knees. You can do the same if you feel you might need that. So just bringing the toes together and looking down to the ground. And we firstly just stretch. So bring the arms down and just look at your toes as you come down. Just have a deep stretch. In Yin Yoga, we hold the poses for a long time. So we'll just go down gradually. So the toes are still together at the moment and we're going to come down lower to the ground. So stretching through the arms and under the armpits as well. Take your head to the floor. I'm going to keep mine up just because I'm talking to you, but rest your forehead on the floor if you can. And you should be feeling that lovely groin stretch. And if you use your hands, you can push yourself back further to push in your buttocks back onto your heels and then just soften down into the posture. In Yin Yoga, we hold the pose for a long time. So just soften yourself down, breathe deeply, breathe into the groin area. Visualize your breath flowing through your body down into your groin. And just relax and just enjoy the breath and the muscles giving way and softening. And if you want to now take this pose slightly further, you just flex your feet out from one side to the other. So you're in that true frog position and push yourself down to the ground. So you'll be in a wider position here. Not everybody can get their feet flat like this. So if you can't get your feet out into the true frog position, just stay where you were with your feet and toes pointing together. But just soften deeply into that groin. So take your head down now. I'm going to take my head down. And I'm just going to talk through, hopefully you can still hear me. My hands are soft on the floor. I'm trying to soften my body deeper into the ground. So my armpits are going closer to the ground with each breath. Breathe wide into the ribs, into your back ribs. Get that feeling of everything softening into the earth. And just let your body go with the posture. The groin area will soften and this takes pressure off your back. Your back should be nice and long in extension here. And just breathe through. So just have a couple more breaths here. You might want to move your arms slightly further away and that will soften your shoulders back and down. So your arms are in a wide V now, your forehead's on the floor. You might want to turn your neck one way, so you could just turn your neck so that your head's on the side, having a neck stretch as well. And as we do these small movements, the main work of softening through the groin is still going on, and it takes our minds off what we're doing. So a couple more breaths, breathe in and breathe out through the nose. And then we'll take the head the other way. So just take your eye gaze the opposite way to what you had before. Just a stretch in the neck. And breathe again, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. And if you can, while you're here, for the last part of the pose, push yourself back deeper, further back, softening the groin. And breathe, breathe, breathe. And our last breath I'm going to do with you. So breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make it a longer out breath. And slowly we'll come out of this pose. This was a very deep pose, very long hold. So take your hands under your shoulders, gently push yourself back up. Bring the toes back in behind you. Push yourself back onto your feet. And then if you had your mat rolled up, you can just unroll the mat. And then just take yourself round and just sit on your heels if you can and take your body back and just stretch the arms, stretch in through the quads, and then we'll come over, we'll sit to the side, take the legs out, and just bring them down, and then just give your knees a little bit of a bash, and then just take your feet out and in. So rotation through the hip socket there as well. Okay, so from here we're going into swan. So I'm going to do this with the right leg to start. So take the right leg round and the left leg comes behind. So you can do half a swan, which is here. And then you'll just stay in this position and have the back leg behind you. If you can go into the full swan, that will be maybe nicer for you. And from here, you'll take the back leg nice and long. I'll just show you from the front, the foot position. You can have you need to have your foot flexed to protect your knee, but your foot can come up to your groin if that feels best. So you can take your foot into your groin and just move yourself until you're comfortable. So I prefer my foot close to my groin. And then I'll square my hips, so square the hips nicely and take that back leg nice and long. So just feel that back leg being pulled away. It's as if someone has got hold of your big toe and they're lengthening that leg, so lengthen the leg away. So your hip flexor here is deeply stretched. And then when you're comfortable, you start to come down. So coming down to the ground. So taking one arm down slowly and the other arm. Now try not to take your whole body weight onto your knee, because that can actually hurt your knee joint. So we don't want to mess up the knee joint at all. So we come down slowly. So just come down slowly, but if you can draw your abdominals in, so to protect your back, and then just keep coming slower, down and down, until your forehead is on the floor. And then you might want to walk that back leg away a little bit. You might want to wiggle your hips a tiny bit, just a little wiggle. And you can take your arms to wherever they feel comfortable. They might feel nicer in front of your head. You get that stretch under the armpit. And your neck is nice and long, your chin is tucked in. You're resting on your forehead. And remember to breathe. Still try to keep a little engagement on your tummy here. Don't let the belly flop out. And just still keep feeling that leg being pulled away behind you. So the stretch here is really deep into the groin and the glute. So you'll get that stretch around the back of your gluteal muscles. And they're the muscles that help our back stay nice and safe in all the things we do and strong. So we tend to work our glutes and keep them strong. And this stretch will help to soften the area and keep them flexible too. So with strength and flexibility, we're in a good place. So a couple more breaths and we'll start that nice breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Controlled breathing. Maybe soften the forehead a bit, soften through the shoulders. Don't hold tension in the shoulders. And a couple more breaths. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll do a few more breaths here, just in your own time, your own breath pattern. Just feel your body melting into the ground. Breathe, enjoy that feeling. Just have a little bit of engagement again on those abdominals. Just draw them up, draw them in. The Mula Bandha is working for us. And now we'll start to come out of the posture. So we'll come up onto our hands. And we'll have a bit more of a stretch here. So this is stretching that lumbar spine. A nice stretch. And then we'll tuck the left toe under we'll take the right leg back. We're in a plank for a second. Just breathe through your plank. Stretch through the feet. Feet are nicely flexed. And then we just push ourselves up into a down dog. And just have a little stretch here. So let your head go. Maybe you just backward and forwards. And just make sure your feet are in alignment as you look through. Draw the tummy in and just let the legs have a little paddle. So paddling one way and the other. And then we bring the other leg in, so we're going to transition into the left side. So this time our left leg comes through, our right leg goes nice and long. So again, making sure your foot's in a good position so that can come into the groin. So just get the feeling that's right for you. I mean, you can have your leg out here. I find that more difficult than to get my hip over, so I have it this way, and I just rock over for a bit. Just get the optimum position for yourself. And just as before, we take that back leg on long and away, as if someone's pulling that toe, take it away, and just feel that length through the hip flexor here, and take yourself slowly to the ground. So maybe you just have a few minutes here. First of all, just getting that feeling of the other hip stretching now. So we've got the stretch down the left side of our hip this time, and the hip flexor on the right is long towards the floor. And breathe, soften the eye gaze, take your mind to the place you're stretching. So visualize the breath coming in through the nose, flowing through the body and going right the way to the hip. The breath is hitting the hip area where you're stretching. So all of that oxygen helping those muscles. So breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you might be ready now to come all the way down. So again, don't compress your knee joint. Try to take your body over, away from the knee joint. And take the forehead to the floor. And breathe again. So once you're down, you might feel that lengthening of the back leg again, taking the leg long. And your breath flows through the body. 1, 2, 3, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep that going. Just take your mindfulness into your body. Visualize the breath coming, nourishing all of those muscles, all those cells. And out, breath, taking away the things your body doesn't need. So breathe in. And maybe while you're here, you can enjoy the raindrops as they're falling. You can hear them in the video today. It's winter time, we have to expect the rain. You just listen to the rain, let your body soften, keep it going. A couple more breaths here. Again, walk that leg away, just get that longer stretch. Someone's pulling the toe, you might go a bit further this time. Stretching away. A couple more breaths. And then we're going to come back up. We're going to take our hands back and just now stretch back up. Draw your tummy in and that nice lumbar spine stretch here. So we'll go back up into our down dog now. So tuck that right toe under. We'll transition through plank. So tuck the toe, transition. A nice strong plank for me, a bit of strength work here as well. Breathe, 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 and then up into a down dog. And just push yourself back, get the hamstring stretch. So we've had hip flexor, we're now doing hamstring, and just pad through the feet. From here, come back down onto your knees, and we're going to do a spinal twist. So, coming over onto your back. So slowly take yourself in control to the floor. Draw your tummy in And roll down. You can take your arms out into a nice wide T. Take your feet closer to you. But just do a little bit of pelvic tilt here, just get ourselves ready for the twisting of the spine. And first of all, just keep the feet together. So draw the knees together, feet together, and we're going over to the right. So breathe in to prepare. Take a nice deep breath in, and then we're rolling over and taking our feet towards, our knees towards the other side, away from us. Once you're there, look along the left shoulder. If that feels nice, you might want to close the eyes. You're going to stay here for a while, and you can move the body to get into the best posture for you now. So the feet are stacked at the moment, but you might take your right leg right the way down, and then take the top leg slightly in front on top, and just let that rest. You might want to keep the arms in the wide T position. You might not. You might prefer to move the hand up behind the head. I prefer to keep it out because I feel I get a better stretch that way. But whatever's comfortable for you, and just feel yourself deepening into that stretch. We're stretching right across the spine here. So again, you can be positioned wherever feels best for you. And then we're going to close our eyes and breathe. So breathing in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember to soften. Your mindfulness takes your inner eye through the body, and this time down the spine. How is the spine feeling? Is it nice and feeling good, this stretch? Or are you holding tension? If you're holding tension, try to maybe move the shoulders a little bit until you feel there's no tension there. You might want to move the legs again. I'm going to move mine slightly just to bring them up towards my body. I feel that feels a little bit better. And I can feel I'm really softening now into this posture. I feel the stretch down deeply in the lumbar spine now, with that slight movement of the legs. And you can take your right hand on top of your legs just to help you soften into that position. So the left arm is still long on the floor, and your right hand is now just assisting to get the deeper twist. And if you draw the tummy in, you draw it in quite tightly now as you're resting here. You can feel the side oblique muscles switch on as well in that deep twist. Maybe your knees can come together. We all have a different mobility and flexibility, so if your knees aren't together, it really doesn't matter as long as you're feeling the stretch in the spine. A couple more breaths. And then we'll assist ourselves back to centre. Slowly draw one leg back and the other leg. That's quite a deep stretch for the spine. And so before we do anything else, we just do a pelvic tilt here, just softening that back deeply into the floor. Real flat back here. Flat back, flat back. Oh, that's nice. And then back to neutral spine. Do that once more for me. So back down and then neutral spine. And then we'll go the other way. So again, drawing the knees together, squeeze the knees together, the feet together, and we're rolling over, this time to the left. Just gently rolling over. The eye gaze goes to the right this time. As you get there, you take the left leg right to the floor if you can, and maybe the right leg comes over a bit. And you can just draw that to where it feels comfortable. Have it on its own to start with, and then you might want to stack it afterwards. So having it slightly away from the under leg can give you a nice, a deeper rotation. So make sure you're looking down your right arm now, I'm just going to go back over and look down my right arm a little bit and breathe. So soften the shoulders if you can, so take any tension out of the shoulders. Draw the tummy in for me. So make sure that tummy is deeply engaged here, so drawing that tummy in as you stretch. So again, you can take the right arm behind the head if that feels nicer for you. I feel better by having my shoulder blades flat on the floor. I get a deeper stretch and a twist. And then if you want to, you can just draw the knees in closer to the body and stack them and see how that feels. So close the eyes. I'm going to close my eyes now. Take my eye gaze back to the right. But I'm going to really draw my abdominals in. Draw them in deeply. So feel that work down the side oblique muscles. The breath is working for you, but the body's relaxing deeply into the floor, but it's still stretching it's quite intense. Gravity is working to take your legs down on top of each other and twist the spine. So breathe into that region, have maybe a couple of breaths in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Couple more. In, 1, 2, 3, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're getting ready to move the body again. So we take our right leg back first, and then the left leg comes back to join it. And from here, maybe stretch the arms up. And then bring the shoulders back and down. And take the arms overhead. And stretch the right leg long to the floor, flex the feet, and the left. And just have a full body stretch. So whatever feels nice here. So nice point to the toes, soft point to the toes. And the flex as well. Get that feeling of the difference as you stretch. Try to keep the ribs soft and down and the tummy engaged, even though you're stretching. Okay, so from here, we're going to move into a cat-cow. So I'm coming to the side. So again, all for the spine here. So our traditional cat-cow, we draw our tummy in. So we do our cat first. So our head comes under, we look between the knees, and we start to draw the spine up. So this is a deep C curve of the spine. The pubic bone comes towards you, so it's as if you've got that tilt with the pubic bone coming towards you. The eye gaze between the knees, and then we go back the other way into our cow. So we're this time extending the spine right the way through to a hyperextension. We look it up, and then we come back under. So tuck under, pubic bone comes towards you, eye gaze between the knees. Do a couple more in your own breath pattern. Keep that going. This should feel nice now. You might want to go reasonably fast. You might feel it's just really good to go at quite a pace here. This is just mobilising now from all the work we've done today. We try to draw the tummy in as you go into your cat, and keep it lightly engaged in your cow. It's more difficult in your cow just because of the motion you're doing with the spine. But in your last cat here, just tuck the toes for me. Just come up and push back into a down dog. And we're just going to finish here today in our down dog. So just breathe. Down dog is really a rest posture. So just breathe through your down dog. A couple of breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. Soften into the hamstrings, maybe soften the back a bit more, but make sure the arms are active, don't let them flop. Make sure you're active arms, and push into all the fingers for me. So just push into your fingers, push into your thumb, push into all the corners. And now just gently take the heels back a little bit, away from the away from the toes, so you're sort of slight pigeon toe, just to get a stretch down the outer side of your hamstrings. deepen that stretch. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then come back up onto the toes. We'll take ourselves down. We'll come round. Just sit back on the heels and just soften. Oh, sorry, I'm eating my hair, not so good. Soften your shoulders. That's it, just give yourself a little wiggle here. And then the other way. And thank you for doing yoga with Patrice. Namaste.